Okay, we are going to talk about pointer to a function and execute that function using the pointer and execute that function by using the pointer. Okay, it's a very cool thing to learn and do. So let's the other topic we will be covering either in this video or next video is pass that pointer. The pointer is this pointer to a function. Pass that pointer to functions. That means a function is no more just an integer x, integer y. It can also take functions as a parameter. My neighbor's dog is barking. Sorry about that. So int x, int y, and you see that functions. We are passing functions to functions. That's a cool thing. So let's do this first and let's do this next. All right. So the pointer to a function and execute that functions and passing functions to other functions using this pointer. All right. So let's take the simple example we have done in the past. We have done this addition int comma int y, right? Let's consider this is a function. The job is to print x, y, and x plus y. That's the only job. It'll take x, it'll take y, and it will print the sum of those two variables. Similarly, subtract int x, int y. We did this in our assignment, right? So it print x, y, x minus y. Similarly, multiply. Same thing. Int x, int y. It'll print. Okay, x, y, x times y. Let's take a simple C code. I'll show it to you. Here, I have declared a buffer, which is 15 elements. I've declared as an integer because some of you have problems using integer because it has this character. So I thought let me use that. So plus 42 minus 41. So it has this 5 operators 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A simple array and 2 operands. Okay. So this addition function, if you see it, it takes x comma y and it just prints x, y, x plus y minus x, y, x minus y multiply x, x minus x star times y, and the division is that. So its only job is to print those values and the operation on that. Okay. Now, depending upon whether we see the plus, okay, or a minus or times, depending upon that character will point a pointer to those functions. You see that? Okay, before we go any further, The very first step is we saw what the functions are. We know what the buffer looks like. All right. Now, so we saw that, right? Here. Now, let me ask you this. Pointer to function. What is this? Let's say void. Because that's what we saw, right? Void. These functions all, they don't return anything. So void. So I made void pointer to function int comma end. What this says is, we saw in the past, this is a function name, and these two are parameters, right? Or arguments. Okay, and this is the return value. We saw that. But this is not what we want. We have add, it does something, it's a void. So this is not the way to define a pointer to a function. A pointer to a function is defined as, okay, let me erase these guys. We don't need these guys anymore. All right, we know how to do that. A pointer to a function is defined as this. Let's make it as L. This is what it means. This is a pointer. This is a pointer, okay, because we defined this, okay, pointer. This is the name of the pointer, okay, and it takes two parameters, integer and integer. So name of the pointer, pointer to a function that takes two parameters. All right. So name of the pointer, pointer to a function that takes two parameters, okay, and returns void. And it is, sorry, a pointer to a function that takes two parameters and the function returns void. Remember that. So this is how you define a pointer to a function. So you have to declare this before you can do anything. Just like you do integer star pointer, and here you said this is a pointer to integer pointer, right? And in this case, you are saying my pointer to a function. When you declare like this, it means you are declaring a variable named pointer to function, and that function takes two parameters, all right, and returns void. That function returns void. much similar to this definition. You see that? This is the function that takes two parameters, does something, and returns void. So these two are important to understand pointer to function. So your first job is to define the function first, okay? Because define the function first, because this is the independent function. And if you want to point a pointer to that function, that is the way you define it, definition. Okay? So now we have seen those functions. You see here how I define pointer to a function. Okay? So I define that. Now, okay, so I've declared my function, my pointer, defining pointer to function, right? Here, my operator, what is my operator? Buffer I. Operand 1 is buffer I plus 1. Operand 2 is buffer I plus 2, right? I plus 1, I plus 2. I hope you know how to browse the buffer an array. So you know how to traverse the array. Okay. Now in the same for loop, I'm going to say if my operator is plus, okay, I pointer equal to add. Add is, like you said, this is a pointer to a function, so I can literally assign pointer to function equal to add. The add is nothing but our function, right? Our function is this. So as long as your definition of the pointer, as long as this definition of pointer to a function matches the definition of the function, you can assign to them. That is the key. The key here is the pointer definition should match. Should match with the function definition. Okay, as long as they do match, you're okay. And here, if you go then else, if it is minus, I'm assigning pointer to function equal to minus. So once I assign appropriately based on my operator, I'm assigning my pointer to function. The last step is to call that function. How would I call it? This is where you call it. Now let me go back here. This is add. Okay, this is let's say subtract. I pointed my pointer to function equal to add, say, to execute that function, to execute that function, you simply call pointer to function, pointer to function equal to is x comma y, and you need to get that going too. So this is a pointer to function, and you're calling with parameter. The parameters can be anything, 4, 2, or whatever it is. So this is where you calling the function add. Okay, and I can, if I change this to subtract, then you call subtract. All right, so let's revisit a couple of things. The definition is, first you have to define a function. In this case, let's say add int comma int void. Say this is the definition of the function. Then your definition of a pointer to a function is pointer. So this is the definition. This is the declaring a pointer. Okay, so this is the very first thing. Then in your program, when you when your logic determines that you have to execute add function, then you simply say pointer equal to add. This is the second step. This is the assignment, assigning pointer to function. Okay, third step is to call that function just like you did before, which is star pointer. If you're passing let's say 4 comma 2 to addition, you just say 4 comma 2. It could be integer variables too. This is to execute that function. So these three things you need to know: definition or declaration. Okay, so in this example, if you go back, so for each operator I am assigning the the function to pointer to function, and then I'm calling here, calling the function. Okay, so let's compile this. Do it. If we school.c, 1 second. See here, this is my program, plus 4 comma 2 my buffer, minus 4 1 is my this buffer here. I traverse each and every operator. So 4 comma 2, 4 plus 2. So my pointer called add function and printed the value. Next, my pointer got assigned to minus the function. It called the appropriate function, and printed the value here. Then I called, assigned my pointer to the multiply, and then it called my multiply operation. So this is how you do pointer to a function. All right. And just to revisit here, this is the defining. Step one is to, you have to define it and declare it, right? Step two is the assignment here. You are assigning a function to the pointer. All right. Then you are calling the function. So this is step three. So you need to as long as you understand that this is very, very essential. Putting the wrapper around the pointer. This is the key. If you miss it, the name changes. If you, what this says is the function name pointer returns as two parameters, and it returns a void pointer. That's not the way you want. You want pointer to a function. That function takes two parameters, and the function returns void. Okay. So let's go back to our slides, what we made. So we said we'll talk about pointer to a function, and we defined a pointer to a function. All right. Uh, Before you define the function, you have to know what the before you define the pointer and declare the pointer, you have to know what the function is first. So you have to define the function anyway, irrespective of how you want to call it. So the steps to do it: first you define the pointer to function, then in the logic you assign the appropriate function to that pointer, and you call that pointer, that function. So this takes care of pointer to a function. All right.